All right, so we're going to go ahead and jump in here today, and we are going to chat about Book Creator and all of the goodies that you can use in Book Creator and how you can use those with your students. And first off, you are going to sign in through Book Creator. And all right, so we are going in through Clever. And when you go in through Clever and you click on the Book Creator logo, it's going to ask you to start creating your account. All right, so very easy. There's a few questions that it's going to ask you. What grade levels do you teach? What subjects do you teach? What building are you in? And you're just going to jump through the hoops and answer those questions. Now, the last question it's going to ask you is, what do you want to call your library? And it's always a tough question, right? Like, what do I call my library the first time I do this? It really doesn't matter. Call it demo, call it test, practice, anything you want. Just name it something and get through those hoops. And eventually, you're going to get to a point that looks like this, all right? And what you're going to see is your library named at the top, and then right across the middle, you'll see a line that says you don't have any books. Totally fine. Lots of time to make books. But before we do that, I always like to go to the 3 black lines here at the top left. And those 3 black lines are going to take you to your teacher dashboard. All right, and your teacher dashboard is where all of your books and libraries are going to live. And with the full version that all of you have access to, you will have access to 1,000 books each and unlimited libraries. What does that mean? That means you can make a library for every class. You can make a library for small groups. You can make a library for certain projects. You could even make a library for every student if you really wanted to, and use Book Creator like a digital portfolio, all right, which is really powerful. Now, I'm actually going to put a link into the chat window. I just had a webinar last night, and this is not something that I saw coming. I've seen millions of uses for Book Creator, but when this school district in New York, Oceanside, came to me and said, we use it for elementary report cards, I was like, hold up. All right. So I just put a link to that webinar in there. So if you're interested in how they use it for elementary report cards, definitely take a look. All right. Because it is absolutely fascinating. All right. But 1,000 books, unlimited libraries. Get in there, make books, make libraries. Don't be shy. All right. You're not going to break Book Creator. The next tab across the top that I want to focus on is our Discover tab. All right. Now, the Discover tab is filled with lots of resources and materials that are going to help you kind of get started and get along with Book Creator. So in the Discover section, the very first thing I want to show you is a series of student templates. All right, so we have some pre-made templates there that your students can use. And the way this is going to work is you're going to go in here, you're going to find these templates, like maybe one of our new literacy templates. You're going to click on it, and you're going to click the button that says Remix. All right, and then what you're going to do is you're going to choose the library that you want to put it in, and you're going to click Copy. And that's it. All right, and that book will then show up in your library, and then you can assign it to your students, which I'm going to show you here in just a minute. All right, but these books are amazing. All of these books are really, really cool. And like I said, for lack of a better term, they are basically interactive notebooks or journals or, digital workbooks, however you want to look at it. They are really cool. So definitely want you to look at those. As you scroll below that, we have examples by grade level. All right, so you can use Book Creator in any grade level. All right, doesn't matter what you teach or what grade level it is, you can use Book Creator. I have personally used Book Creator with students as young as 3 and as old as 98, and everywhere in between. All right, and so you can too. So you're going to simply click on the different grade bands, and you're going to see some awesome books written by students in this section. Underneath that, we have books written by our ambassadors, all right? And these are books on a wide range of topics. We have a brand new book here where we're aligning Book Creator to literacy standards. So if you're interested in that, you can take a look there. But we also have books on everything from more literacy to elementary classroom, science, social studies, language arts, supporting language learners, digital citizenship, and more. So there are just thousands of ideas for how to use Book Creator in your classroom in this section. And then the last section, which is my absolute favorite, is books by subject. And the reason I love this is because with Book Creator, I say you can use it for everything, but a lot of people think they hear the words book creator and they think only language arts. And so I love this section because it really shows you how you can use book creator in any subject area. We've got PE teachers using it for students documenting their physical education journey. We've got music teachers using it to document performance reviews and practice sessions. Math teachers creating their own math textbooks. We've got students creating their own math textbooks. You name it, you can use Book Creator for it. Now, the next section I want to talk about is our certification. All right. Now, our certification, when you click on that button and scroll past my really bad haircut, over here on the left-hand side, what you're going to see are 18 videos that will walk you through everything that Book Creator has to offer. Now, I know what you're thinking. Isn't that what we're doing here today? And the answer is yes. So why would you want to use this? Because at the end of the session today, I'm going to ask if you have any questions. And you're probably going to say no, because it's almost dinner time or I've got things to do and I don't want to ask any questions. And you're just hoping that nobody raises their hands, right? At that point, I understand. But when you're going to have those questions is going to be a night like tonight, during dinner, tomorrow, a week from now, a month from now. And so I love using this certification because if you're sitting there thinking a month from now, what did he say about the pen tool? You can go back in and watch these videos whenever you want in any order that you want. All right. Watch the videos, pass the quiz, and then you can become a book creator certified author. You get a cool badge, you get a certificate of completion, but more importantly, you get that deep, deep understanding of book creator. All right. Now, I saw Kathleen pop back on here. I know Kathleen has a special message for you as well that goes along with the certification. So, Kathleen, let's hear it.
So we have about 40 people signed up now in Vector. We are offering 2 hours of credit if you would like to become a book creator certified author. I just finished mine, so I encourage you to sign up in Vector, follow the instructions, and join me.
All right, excellent. And then as a side note, this is a little bittersweet, and Kathleen knows where I'm going with this. But I am a big fan of challenges. All right, and I have a school district that I shouldn't mention, but Kansas City Public Schools had 300 teachers do the certification in the first month that it went live, almost 2 years ago. I'm tired of seeing them at the top of the leaderboard. All right, because they are not my school district. Unfortunately, you are not my school district anymore either, but I want to get Kansas City off that leaderboard. All right. So if you do that, then I will literally send you a trophy. All right. So that we can get Kansas City off that leaderboard and you can stick it in a trophy case wherever that's at in your district. All right. And your new teacher success manager, her name is Janet. She's not able to join us tonight. She is on board with this too. All right. So we just got to get Kansas City off that leaderboard. All right, now, Susan, I did see your question, and I'm going to go ahead and answer that as vaguely as I possibly can. All right, we're going to talk about that later. The answer is yes, but we'll talk about it in a little bit. Okay. All right. Now, once you are back in your library, you'll see here the digraph book that I made a copy of, right, for my library. And so if I want, I can go in here, I can edit anything that I see, I can change pages, I can delete things, anything I want. And when this book is ready and I want to give it to my kids, there's a really special, easy way to do this. I click the share button and I say assign book. And now what's going to happen is it's going to assign this book to my students. Every student that's in my library will automatically get a copy. If I want, I can pick specific students to get a copy, and then I click start assignment. And that is it. And all I have to do is start the assignment, and then my students are able to edit their own copy of the book. Once you copy this book, then every student automatically gets a copy of the book that they can edit. All right, which is really awesome and super, super easy. So if you want to do copies, that's the way to do it. Now, when you create your library, the most important step is to get the kids into the library, all right, because students cannot make books without being in a teacher's library. So when the students click on Book Creator inside of Clever, the very first thing it's going to say is, what is the code? All right, and how do I get that code? Right at the top of your library, there's a little button that says invite code. You're going to click on that button and a code is going to pop up. Now you're going to copy that code and you're going to write it on a board, or you're going to email it to your kids, put it in Google Classroom, whatever you use to get information to your students. Give them the code. They go to Clever, they sign in, and it's going to say code. They put it in, and now they are part of your library. And once they're in your library, you can see all of the work that they do. All right. And there's really three things that students can do. They are able to view any of the books that are already there. Right. So if I created a study guide or my own math textbook or anything like that, then they can simply view it. They can flip through the pages, but they can't really mess around with it. The second thing that they can do is collaborate, all right, together on a book. So if I wanted to, I can click the share button and collaborate, and my students can work on the book together. Either all the students can work together, or I can pick specific students to work on that book together. And then the third thing that they can do, and personally my favorite, is they can click the button that says new book. All right. And when they click new book, they have some choices. They can make a blank book here at the top. We have some comic books down here at the bottom. Now, my own personal preference is to choose the comic books. All right. And the reason I say that is because even if you don't want to make a comic book, you have the options. All right. If you choose the top row of books, you don't get the comic panels, you don't get the comic stickers. So if you think you might want comic panels or stickers, choose the bottom row. Now, for those of you that teach in the middle school or the high school, one of the things that happens when students click on a book is they see this and they're like, that's it. And that's it. All right. Book Creator is very easy. All right. But sometimes when students that are in middle school or high school see that, they think that because it's easy, they can't possibly use it. All right. Now, that is absolute rubbish. All right. And here's why. I love what you can do in Book Creator. But if you have kids who think that it needs to be a little more sophisticated, then I love showing them templates. All right, and so we do have a series of templates that have beautiful designs, beautiful page layouts, and when you click on one, you can really see that it is very powerful, right? These are amazing looking templates, and it really shows you the power of the simplicity of Book Creator. All right, so again, even though it looks very easy to use, you can still create amazing content. And all of the stuff on these pages can be edited. So you can change colors, you can change fonts. You want to get rid of the camel and put something else in there? Get rid of the camel and put something else in there. All right, so there are endless possibilities with these templates, but I do love the templates, especially with older kids, because it really shows them the power of Book Creator. All right, now I'm going to go into my playground book here, and I want to really show you how powerful Book Creator actually is. So again, when you go into a blank book, this is it. This is what you see. All right, very, very simple. There are literally two buttons that you have to push, and that's it. All right, there's the plus button at the top, which allows you to add stuff to the book. And there is the inspector button or the I button right next to it that allows you to change things. All right, so change colors, fonts, sizes, whatever you want. So what can we put into a book? Well, I'm going to click the plus button, and you'll see that we can add media, shapes, more, and down here at the bottom, we've got comics. All right, so I'm going to start with shapes. So in the shapes tool, you can see a bunch of shapes. Very, pretty self-explanatory, right? You click on a shape, it adds it to the page. I can move it around, I can resize it. I can change the color if I click on the inspector. All right, so pretty normal kinds of shapey things. But what I love about the shapes is some of them allow you to type inside of them. And so now I want you to think about shapes a little bit differently. I want you to think about them as graphic organizers, timelines, mind maps. Maybe I've got a map on the page and I want to label the different parts of a map. There's a lot that you can do with a simple shape. But it's even cooler than that because inside the Shapes tool, there is a search bar. And that search bar lets you search for just about anything. All right. So we're supposed to get 3 to 5 inches of snow tonight, right? So I'm going to type in snow and click search. And then guess what? All of these really cool icons related to snow pop up. All right. Now I know my children are hoping it's this one, right? With lots of big fat snowflakes, right? Because they would love to sleep in tomorrow morning. So I've got my icons. Now, again, if you click on the inspector, you can change the color of that to whatever you want. But I love these icons because they really help make your pages look better. They're also great for things like vocabulary. I just love these icons. And there are 2 to 3 million icons inside that search bar. And I have searched for some pretty random stuff like photosynthesis, mitosis, random things, and I always get a result. Now, the one time that I did not get a result, I was absolutely mortified, right? Because I tell everybody, you will always get something that pops up until you type in Shakespeare. All right. And I was like, how can Shakespeare not have an icon? All right. Well, I found out a couple days later that the reason is because I spelled it wrong. All right. So if you spell Shakespeare, you will get results for Shakespeare too. All right. But if you spell it wrong, you won't. So just an FYI. All right. Now, under the plus button, the next button that I want to talk about is the media tab. All right. Now, the media tab is where the bulk of the good stuff exists here within Book Creator. And the very first option that we have is an image search. So, what I love about this image search is that you do not have to send kids out to the Googs if you don't want them to go there. All right. It's a wild, wild place out there, and there's lots and lots of images. But if you use our image search, what you're going to notice is that when you click on an image and add it to your page, these images are beautiful. They are free to use, they are free to modify, and they are safe. All right. They come from Pixabay and they are awesome. Now, depending on how many kids are in your house and using the iPad at the same time, it may take a second for that image to get there, but it will get there. And if it doesn't, then I'm just going to delete it and we're going to go back and try a different one and see what happens. All right. So those images will get there. And again, what I said is they are gorgeous, as you can see, crystal clear. These are not the grainy thumbnails that your kids like to drag into presentations that look like garbage. These are beautiful, beautiful images. You can resize them, you can move them around, and if you click the inspector, you can add attribution information. You can hyperlink the image to a website or to a specific page in the book, and you can even add accessibility text. So if I said classic car on a dirt road, then when somebody with visual impairments goes to read my book, it will literally say image classic car on a dirt road. All right. So really powerful accessibility options. Next, click the plus button, media. The next one down is the camera. Now, I personally believe that the camera is a very powerful tool, but I also believe that we don't use it enough. All right. And so right here with the camera, if you click on it, you will see that you can add a still picture, which is pretty self-explanatory, or you can add a video. Now, the video is my favorite. So here we go. Hey, Mr. Smith, today in class you were talking about angles, and I could care less until I got home and realized there's a 90-degree angle right there between the ceiling and the wall. All right. And so my students can take whatever it is that they learned in school and they can find it in the real world. So maybe it's math, maybe it's an interview that they did with somebody, maybe they videoed the entire science lab and put that into the book so they could go back and reference it later and make predictions and things like that. So I love the video. All right. You can resize it, you can move it around. But guess what? There's even more. So when you click the inspector, you can even add captions, and you can add captions in 120 different languages. All right. So whatever language your video is in, it will not translate, but you can choose captions in that language. So if I speak English, I choose English. If I speak Spanish, I choose Spanish and generate the captions automatically. Or I can enter the captions manually. Now, why would I do that? All right. I like to save time. Well, here's why. Because when the video is in English, then I can manually type in Spanish, and now my videos have subtitles like Netflix. All right. And that is awesome. All right. So I love being able to use videos in multiple languages. All right. Next, plus button, media. The next one down is the pen tool. All right. Now, the pen tool is a mic drop kind of moment. All right. And so I'm kind of looking through everybody's pictures here. Looks like you're all in a seat, which is good. If you're not on camera, you have to promise me that you're going to sit down because this is awesome. And I don't need anybody passing out with excitement and falling over a chair. All right. Now, some of you believe me, and some of you, I can see your faces. You're kind of like, dude, it's a pen tool. All right. How exciting can it possibly be? Well, very exciting, because when you click on the pen, you get the color wheel. Click on that, you get all these amazing colors. Guarantee your kids are going to go down here to the bottom where it says magic ink. Why? Glitter, 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 and rainbow glitter. That's all I got to say. All right. Your kids are going to go down there. They're going to love this. But it gets even better because when you click on the brush, you've got a marker, a brush, a crayon, a highlighter, pretty standard pens that do pretty standard pen type things like draw, write, underline, highlight things, circle things on a map, put a mustache on a famous painting. Pretty normal pen stuff. But my favorite pen of all is this one right here, and that is the Auto Pen. And the reason I love the Auto Pen is because your students, especially if they're above about fifth grade, will say things like, I can't draw, I'm not an artist, I hate the trackpad, get out of my face. I teach a graduate class of teachers. I ask them to draw all the time, and you know what they say? The same thing, because y'all are just as bad as the kids. All right. And so I'm going to show you how bad I am at art by using the Auto Pen. All right. I'm going to draw for you a bike. All right. Now, this bike is hideous. Nobody's going to want to ride this bike to the park. But as I'm drawing, at the top of the screen, the auto draw is trying to figure out what it is. Is it a basketball? I sure hope not. Is it a pair of glasses? Maybe if you got hit in the face with the basketball, right? What is it? Ooh, it's a bike. And I see some different bikes here. I simply click on the bike that I want and it fixes my drawing and it now makes it look like something that I actually would ride to the park. All right, so I love this, and your kids are going to love this because they are going to feel like they can do art. All right, which is super cool. All right, yes, it is definitely cool, Kristen. So I love this. All right, so that is the Auto Pen. It's kind of like baby AI, right? It's not like Terminator take over the world AI, simple stuff. All right, plus button, media. The next one down is text. We've been talking for 26 minutes about bookmaking, and we haven't said anything about words. All right, so you click on text, you choose a style, and a text box pops up. Now, from here, you can type inside the text box if you want. You can copy and paste inside that text box if you want. Or my personal favorite is this button right here, and that is the microphone. And the reason I love the microphone is because of a student I had. His name was Michael Eddy. Now, Michael was one of my biggest haters. All right. No matter what I tried, this kid did not want to write. He did not care about school until I showed him Book Creator. And then he was excited and he was like, whoa, this is cool. But I still can't spell. I still can't type. I still don't know where the stupid keys are. And I said, Michael, it's okay. I said, you know why? He goes, why? I said, because neither do your teachers. I've seen their emails. They can't spell. They can't type. They don't know where the keys are either because they do this all day long. He started laughing. And I said, but Michael, guess what? In Book Creator, we have this microphone, which means you can write with your face. And he was like, what? And that was it. Changed Michael's life. And here's how it works. You click this little drop down, you choose whatever language it is that you want to speak in, and then you click the microphone and speak. All right? Click the microphone and start speaking in the language that you chose from the drop down. I hit stop. There it is. It understood me. Siri, she thinks I have a mouthful of marshmallows when I talk to her. Book Creator just gets it. And it shows up right there on the screen. I can bold, italicize, underline. I can add colors and highlights. I can do numbers and bullet points. I can also do strike throughs and superscripts and subscripts. We have accent marks and we even have math symbols. When you're all done, you hit done. And there is your text box. Now from there, I can click the inspector and now I can change the size, the colors, the fonts, the backgrounds, anything you want to change right there inside that text box to really personalize what you've got going on. Now, Judith, great question. At this time, we do not have anything in Book Creator. Well, I shouldn't say that. Normal stuff in Book Creator, we don't have anything that's going to translate. All right. When I say we don't really have that, but then I said, I kind of lied. We do have the ability to change the user interface into about 12 different languages. All right. So if you wanted to do that, we can talk about that a little bit later. But from a text-based standpoint, we do not have anything that translates. What you could do though is open up Google Translate, type something in, get it in Spanish, copy and paste that right into a text box. So there is a way that you can kind of work around it for now. But apparently translation is something that is much harder to build from an engineering standpoint than I want it to be. All right. So some things in engineering I've seen our engineers build something over a lunch break. There's other things that will take months and months and months to build, and this is one of them. Now, I agree, multilingual students, I think, is fantastic. So you could certainly do, what I showed you earlier with the captioning. All right, have them speak in Spanish, have them manually type the text in English, and now you have English or text with Spanish videos. There's a lot. And we also have one of our ambassadors have made a supporting language learners book inside of that Discover tab that I showed you all earlier. So there's some great stuff there. Now, plus button, media. The last one down is the record button. All right. And this is another one that's really great for multilingual students. Click record and start recording. You get that same countdown like you did with the video. My name is John Smith, and I really enjoy washing cars. Hit stop, use recording, and now that student's voice is right there inside of the book. All right, so again, great for multilingual learners, great for reading fluency, sound effects, music in the background, all kinds of stuff. Now, I'm going to show you a personal example here real quick that really utilizes the audio record button. And that is right here. So this is my daughter's library. All right. She is in first grade this year. And every week she comes home with a new book. She actually just came home with a book tonight. And it's a paper book that she has to read to us over and over again for the week. And then next week she'll get a new book, which was really cool until I decided to do something a little bit different with it. All right. And so what I did was I actually put those pages of the book into Book Creator. I don't want to talk about how many copyright laws I violated because that's not important. What's important right now is that my daughter now is able to add an audio recording of her voice on top of that book. So when I click the play button, all right. It's awesome. I can hear my daughter's voice and she reads the book. And I have documented that for every book that she has gotten since the beginning of the school year. Now, why is this important? All right, because I was in these situations and I remember sending books or like letters home to parents, and they would say things like this: your child is reading 26 words per minute or 30 words per minute or whatever. And most parents would look at that and be like, okay, like, is that good? Is that bad? Like, what does that mean? How important or how cool would it be if I could send this book home to parents and say, here's what that actually sounds like, right? Here's your daughter's reading fluency. So I love the audio record button. Same thing with multi-language learners. I've had teachers use Book Creator for the final exam. And so the teacher might put a video on the book and say, here's a conversation starter. And now you have to record your own voice finishing the conversation. All right. So lots of options there. Plus button, media. Down underneath the record button is our series of comic stuff. All right. So if you click on the panel, you choose a panel style and it adds it right to the book. Now from here, you can click in the panel and you can click the plus button and add an image from the internet or our image search, your camera, files on your computer or Google Drive. All right. And so I'll go to my camera, take a picture. All right. And then we click use. And that picture goes and it gets dumped right inside that comic panel. Now, if you want, you can move it around and get it exactly the way you want it to be, or you can move it back. Then from there, you can click the plus button and you can add speech bubbles. You can add thought bubbles. You can, of course, type inside of all of those. And of course, we have stickers. So now it's really coming together, really starting to look like a comic book. Now, what I love about comics is that they are great for step-by-step directions, sequencing. I've seen students solving math problems in comic panels. I've seen students using, obviously, the dialogue here to have conversations between historical figures. I've even seen kids using our comic panels to do storyboarding for video projects that they're going to do in other things, which I think is really cool. So really a lot of uses for comics. If you click the outside edge and click the inspector, you can even add backgrounds behind the comics, and now it's really looking cool. When you go to the plus button to the far right to add a new page, it will remember whatever that background was. If you don't like it, you just click the inspector again, and you can change the background on a solid page if you wanted to. So we have lots of comic backgrounds, but we also have colors, borders, patterns, textures. But my personal favorite, paper. So we've got graph paper, small graph paper that's so tiny nobody's going to use it. We've got line paper, college ruled, kindergarten paper, the dot game you play when you're bored at PD, the dot game you play when it's an all-day PD, and music paper. All right, so we have lots and lots of options there for paper styles. All right. Now, I'm going to show you two more features that are here inside of the book, and then I'm going to share with you what I believe to be the most powerful feature of all. All right, so here we go. Plus button, more. The very first time you click on the more button, you will only see two things. You will see files and you will see embed, and that's it. The embed feature is super powerful because I can embed content from anywhere. YouTube, Vimeo, Soundtrap, Desmos calculators, Padlet, Flipgrid, Powtoon, Explain Everything, Adobe Spark, WeVideo, anything that has an embed code, you can put right here inside there, and it will add it right into the book. But if you ever want more, then you're going to click this button that says Add Apps. And what it's going to do is it's going to take you to our little app store. And it's going to allow you to add additional things into your book creator experience if you want. They are all turned off by default, so you have to turn them on, all right, for you and for your students. Now, I'm going to click on Giphy, and I'm going to turn it off here for a second. Everybody loves Giphies. They're fun to put into books, all right? Great, add a nice little bit of animation. Before you start clicking the button that says enable, I always recommend that you click on the privacy details. Now, most teachers don't want to read 40 pages of terms of service and privacy. I don't blame you. I don't want to read it either. So we created a little cheat sheet. Now, here's what's important, specifically with Giphy. Nobody under 13. All right, so that pretty much cuts out everybody under about what, 8th grade. So if that's in your situation and you shouldn't be using Giphy, then don't do it, right, with the kids. But if you click the back button and click to turn it on, as long as you don't check any of these boxes, then you can use it, all right, in books that you create, but your kids can't. If your kids are old enough, you click on the libraries that they're in, or you select all and click done. And once it's turned on, when you go back to your book, click the plus button and click more. That's when you'll see everything that you've turned on. Some of these don't have any privacy issues. Some of them are very strict, like 3D models. That is the strictest one that we have. Nobody under 16. And if you're under 18, you have to have parent permission. All right. So very restrictive, but also very cool. All right, so like if I click on 3D models and I go to the science and technology and maybe find this heart, I can add a 3D model of the heart that beats right there inside of our book. All right, so depending on what you're teaching, this could be very powerful for your students. Body systems, animals, food, famous places. I mean, there's a lot that you can use with those 3D models. My other favorite here under the more button is graphic organizers. So we actually have 104 graphic organizers built right into Book Creator. Now, what I like about these is that when you click on one and click add to book, then it is going to literally add the graphic organizer right there to the page. You can click inside the text box and start typing. You can click the plus button and put audio or video on top of that page if you wanted to. But what I love about these graphic organizers is that it really gets teachers understanding that you can use Book Creator more than just this end of quarter project. All right. There's nothing wrong with the end of quarter project, but you can use Book Creator to document the learning from the beginning of the project all the way to the end. And I personally believe that that is more important. All right. I believe the process is more important than whatever the thing is that you come up with at the very end. So while you're using Book Creator, don't just think about it at the end of the quarter, right? Use it for a lot more than that. And here is a good example of how you can do this. All right. So I absolutely love these. Okay, yep, good question. Judith missed where we got those. So if you go to just a page in your book, all right, and you click the plus button under more, the very first time you go there, the only thing you'll see are these two, files and embed. If you want more things like the graphic organizers, you go to the add apps button, you'll find it here, and then you click on the one that you want and you turn it on. Okay, and that's it. All right, now, awesome, we get the options. Good. All right, next, plus button. All right, after more, we've taken care of all of the good stuff up here. Yes, if you turn it on for yourself and not the kids, then that's fine. When the students go into the book, they won't see those options. All right, they won't see them. All right, now the next feature that I want to talk about is down here at the bottom, and that is another plus button inside of a speech bubble. And what that does is it opens up a feedback tab. So when your students are working on their work, you can simply click add comment. You can comment on their work and click post. Kids will see it. They can click on a little emoji, give it a reaction. And if you want, by clicking the little gear here, you can allow them to make comments back on your comments. Students cannot comment on other student books unless you turn on collaboration. All right, so if you don't want students commenting on each other's books, then don't turn on collaboration. If you do leave collaboration off, then the only person who can comment in the book is the teacher and the student. That's it. All right, the individual student who owns the book. Now, I love this. But in true book creator fashion, that is not enough. So not only can you add comments as text, you can also add comments as videos, audio, emojis, gifs, animated emojis, and stickers. I tease because nothing says fix your garbage writing better than a smiling poo over on the side of the page. All right, kids will see the poo, they'll fix the whole page. You don't even have to tell them what they did wrong. But in all seriousness, I love the audio and video the most because it allows you to give comments to even younger students who maybe couldn't read your comment, your text, and it also saves you time. So instead of typing out 100 comments, you just hit the record button, record your comments, and be done with it, right? Really very simple. And of course, if somebody does something good, we've got a cool Giphy, so you can say celebrate, put in a fun Giphy and say whoop, whoop, raise the roof, right? Good job on your assignment there. So anyway, your kids are going to absolutely love this. I love the commenting and feedback tab. All right, now the last thing that I want to share with you, and I'm going to take any questions that you may have, is what I believe to be the most powerful button of all. All right, so if you're already excited, buckle up, because here is what I believe is the best part about Book Creator. When the work is done, all right, at least that's what my kids would say to me. They're like, Mr. Smith, we're done. And I would read their book and it was garbage, right? Like it just wasn't good. And so I would say to them, hey, we got to fix this. And they're like, nah, we don't want to do that. We're done. You got us writing. That was it. And I said, okay, that's fine. I'm going to click the share button and I'm going to publish your garbage writing online for the entire world to see. And they would be like, what? And then something interesting happened. As soon as I said that, quality of work went up, student engagement went up, kids showed up to class, they stopped hating me. Why? Because somebody other than me, their old fuddy-duddy teacher, was now able to view their work. We gave it a title, an author, a description. If you leave the book private, only people with the link can see it, which is what I do for every student book. All right. I almost never click public. All right. If you click public, it's possibly searchable on Google. All right. Remixing. Do I want other people to make a copy of my book? Maybe if I made a template, but for student work, probably not. So I will turn that off. I click publish, and that is it. That book is now online and visible to anybody that has the link. Moms, dads, aunts, uncles, grandparents, Facebook, Twitter, school website, whatever fits within the district privacy policies. All right, so you got to make sure that you honor that and you honor what parents want. But I'll be honest, before Book Creator was even available online, I was using the iPad app and we wrote and published over 300 books. And of all of those books and all of those kids, I had exactly 3 parents who wanted to not allow their child to fully participate in that book. All right. So Parents love this. Kids love this. And what's awesome about this is that when I share this link and people start to read our books, I get analytics. And now I can see how many times the book has been read, and I can see how many countries or what countries have read their books, because little dots will start popping up all over the map. And I'm telling you right now, there is nothing more engaging to those students who did not want to be there in the first place than telling them that their book has been read 99 times in 17 different countries. You will see your students change right before your eyes. I promise. All right, now I lied. I have one last thing I want to show you. In the Discover section, under kindergarten, there is a book called Little Emma. And the reason I want to show you this book is because Little Emma, written by Kiara, has been read 23,447 times. If you think that Kiara is not excited about reading and writing, you are wrong, because she is, and she cannot wait to make a sequel and other books and other topics and all kinds of stuff, because it is powerful. Where do I find this page where the plus new book click box is located? I can't find the page that you are working on. So I'm looking for the very first step, not all the bells, right? Okay. So the very first time that you are in a library, all right, so again, I'm assuming that you have created an account and that you have logged into your library, all right? And once you are in your library, like you are looking at right here, at the top right, that's the new book button. All right, and so you click new book, you choose your style, and then you can start adding things into your book.
So what I'm working from is from Canva inside of my JCPS account. So when I click on Canva, I can click. That's where I'm coming from, and I can't find that page that says there.
That says
so
new
I
book.
missed that part. That was like when I was trying to get
Gotcha.
into the meat. That's the part I missed. So
Okay, gotcha. So here's the thing. So Book Creator and Canva are two completely separate things. All right. So this is
okay.
not, yeah, this is not Canva. All right. So what you're going to want to do is go into Clever and click on the Book Creator logo, and you'll be able to create your own account within Book Creator. Now, I say that, all right, but Canva and Book Creator do work well together. All right. So one of the apps that you could turn on is a Canva app. And so you can actually start in Book Creator, then click on the Canva app, create some stuff in Canva, and bring that right back into the book. But you have to start in Book Creator in order to do that. There was actually a webinar on, I think it was Tuesday, where it was Book Creator and Canva together. And so we did a webinar together. There is a recording of that. So talk with Kathleen. You'll be able to get it. There it is right there. She just posted it into the chat window. So you can do both, but they are totally separate. All right, to start.
Okay,
So
thank you.
definitely.
I thought I could get in there through our little icon, but I can't. Okay,
Yep.
that answers my question. Thank you.
All right. Excellent. All right. Let me see. I think I saw another one here. Sherry, if I work in multiple schools, would it be easiest to create a library for each school? Is there a limit to the number of libraries? Okay, great question. So the answer to that is yes. I would create multiple libraries, one for each school, one for every class, one for each kid, whatever you want. There are no limits to the number of libraries that you can make. All right, you can make unlimited libraries. The only limit is the number of books, which is 1,000 books total, or 200 books per library. All right, so 200 books max. Now, you can always go back to your teacher dashboard if you wanted to and free up space by archiving some of your old libraries. You don't need those. If you don't want them, old students, old projects, whatever, you can always archive libraries, and that helps free up some space. But yeah, I would definitely recommend making a library for every school, or even every group that you work with, or every class. Absolutely. And I saw somebody smiling in the background of that one there too, Sherry. So it looks like your son is going to be excited about Book Creator as well. So it happens. Trust me.